I think we fail to forget that some of the police officers have mental health issues as well.
Yes.
And you're carrying a gun. How do you guys treat that type of trauma with the police officer? One probably grew up racist or probably grew up with mental health issues, and they're carrying a gun and they dealing with other people with mental health issues. How do y'all treat that?
So, I mean, I do want to say the first thing is, from my experience, and what I do believe, most officers, the overwhelming majority, are not like that.
Right, okay.
But I do have to say that. But it doesn't matter if it's 1 out of 6,000 or it's 1,000 out of 6,000. You just have to deal with the issue. And the perception is a big part of that, too. We do a fairly decent job, a pretty good job of, an officer gets involved in a shooting. It's a traumatic event for them, for the people involved, the family of the people involved, with the officers and the person that might have been shot by the cop. We do a lot of follow-up, mental health, check on you. What I think we're doing now, and I think is important, is the officer that responds to say somebody gets shot, right, 60th and Market, they get shot. The officer responds. That's traumatic. We didn't necessarily have a thing in place for that trauma that you see. And I have seen kind of officers get desensitized, where like they may see a shooting again and again and again, and it almost comes to the point where they're not like, that's somebody's child. I constantly tell them, the person who was shot, he may not or she may not think that they're valuable, but their grandma, their aunt, their child, their neighbor thinks they're valuable. So I think we could do a better job of day-to-day trauma treating, if that makes sense. You were a part of that, right? You talk to the cops, you're very active on social media. A lot of my officers, to be honest, I have them follow you for some of your messages, whether it be sober messaging or mental health messaging. But I think policing across the country could do a better job of the daily interactions, right? It's traumatic to go into somebody's home during a domestic violence situation. We just leave, right? We leave, right? We give all the resources to the parties involved, but the cops leave, and then maybe they go home and get involved in something.
And I for the police officers that are tuned in, right, I just want you to understand that you're not perfect.
No.
And it's things that's going on with you. Like a lot of people feel like, I know growing up, we used to say something like, the police officer used to get bullied. The police officer don't have a good family. They probably going through issues, marriage issues, girlfriend issues, and they want to take it out on people outside. And that's trauma. That's not trauma, but that's mental health issues.
And listen, you're 100% right.
Right.
But I've also seen those same officers handle under that personal trauma, personal stress, handle things, whether it be just a simple problem-solving issue or a violent crime issue,
Right.
or a de-escalating issue.
Right.
They have expressed so much personal trauma, and then they come to work and they just operate beautifully.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I've seen that done. I've seen that done on both parties.
But like I said, whether it's one officer that's acting
Yeah.
appropriate or 1,000, we have to deal with it.
Accordingly.
We do.
Now, during 2020 has been a crazy year.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I'm talking about Philadelphia probably has the second highest homicides in America, behind Chicago.
Uh-huh. And let's get even deeper. So West and Southwest Philly are suffering the most in the city of Philadelphia.
I live in Southwest Philadelphia. I live in the heart of drama.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the heart of crime,
Yeah.
homicides.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take for us to bridge the gap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's going to take for us to be on the same accord. The one thing that I noticed that when a police officer get killed in a line of duty, a lot of police officers are showing their sympathy, they showing their gratitude for the police officer. What about discrepancies? And I felt like I could say this because I'm one of the people that's want to bridge the gap between citizens and police officers.
Okay.
When Breonna Taylor and George Floyd got killed, murdered, we didn't see a lot of police officers like, yo, this is bad. See some, but not a lot. And I was a little upset with that because it's like, I felt like if it was the opposite, police officers would be like, yo, RIP to officer so and so, you got killed in the line of duty. But for Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, just to name a couple, it wasn't like that. Can you explain to the viewers why it wasn't, or it seemed, or it was perceived like it wasn't no sympathy behind that?
So, I'm going to disagree a little bit.
Okay, that's
Again,
cool.
and we agree to disagree. I think that officers are a little cautious sometimes because, there's investigations to sides of this, and officers may not want to speak out about without knowing all the facts of the case, for lack of a better term. And I'm not saying that that's right, wrong, or different. It's just part of the thing. I personally have seen a lot of officers speak out, whether it's social media, at the district, at the town halls, at the communities. The news media has to play a part in that. The news media has to kind of report those things. And I'm not sure if that was done or wasn't done. But it's just it's a tough thing to answer just, right here and now like that. I can't give you a straight answer. I know that most of the officers, the 200 that I command, overwhelmingly just have sympathy for the situation. I haven't met one officer that says what happened to George Floyd or Breonna Taylor was right. They've all said it's horrible. We talk about it at roll calls, community meetings. I see officers on social media posting, but in terms of like an overwhelming departmental statement, I know Commissioner Outlaw has put some things out, but I do think you're right. I think that there is instances where police, when we talk about transparency,
Right.
I think police could be more, what would the word be, kind of just say what they feel. I know a lot of people feel things, but just got to come out and say it, if that makes sense. But I do believe that the officers overwhelmingly have that empathy and sympathy for especially those two individuals.